Chapter 22. We continue as we see someone slamming a table with everything they have as they say, "This is an unprecedented situation, principal." We see the principal looking worried as he looks at a letter and says, "The suspicion of that student again." As the principal says this, a different teacher in the back says, "What a disgrace to our school." The principal asks the MC's class teacher, Fujishiro-sensei, if she noticed something strange. She tells him that she saw nothing strange. The other teachers tell the principal that as supervisors, they didn't notice anything suspicious, and they think it would be difficult to keep it a secret if it was done on such a large scale. We see that this all started with a single anonymous letter saying that Class 1B are cheating in an organized manner. The teachers start saying that Class B's average score was significantly higher. Another one says that there's no evidence, so this might be caused by jealousy. Another teacher asks who could the ringleader be. A teacher replies and says that it's probably Kokonoe Yukito. Hearing this annoys Fujishiro. The dumbfuck teachers get riled up and start saying things like, "Why not call him in and have him solve the problem under close supervision? Let's expose him." This borders on a clear violation. Combined with the slander issue, it may warrant a formal penalty under the rules. Fujishiro can't handle these dumbfucks speaking more and tells them that this is unacceptable. Everyone who supervised the exam said there was nothing suspicious going on. Another teacher named Sanjoji adds in and tells them that she is also against punishing people without evidence and asks them what is the point of them adults acting short-sightedly. One of the dumbfuck teachers says that the fact that a letter like this even exists is already an issue. They can't let it cause the school more trouble. The dumbfuck teachers tell Sanjoji that this is not very like her. It's their responsibility to provide proper guidance. Sanjoji asks these chimps, where is the legitimacy in this? Suddenly, the principal tells her to calm down and suggests something to them. The stupid principal tells Fujishiro that for the next test, Class B will be subject to strict inspection of belongings and will have 2 test supervisors. He asks her if she's okay with that. She reluctantly tells him that she has no objection. He also tells her that Class A will take over inspection duty. Hearing this shocks her. The principal continues and says that they can't inform the teachers about this matter. Their loyalty to the school is too strong. They wouldn't be able to turn a blind eye as alumni. Fujishiro tries to tell the principal to wait a minute. The old man with weak knees sits down and tells her that there are many excellent students in Class B, so he's worried about the negative impact this will have on them. He cannot just leave the rotten apple there. Hearing this pisses off Fujishiro. In anger, she asks, "Are you seriously saying that?" The principal tells her to be extremely careful not to further tarnish the school's reputation. As he says this, he moves on to the next topic. Fujishiro stands there helpless, as she can't do anything to help her students. Now, we see Fujishiro and Sanjoji together in a bar, as Fujishiro says, "He called my student a rotten apple." She gets angry and slams her jug of beer and screams, "Don't screw with me, you damn old geezers." Sanjoji comforts Fujishiro and tells her to please refrain from drinking too much. Fujishiro apologizes to her and tells her that this has also put Sanjoji in a bad position. Sanjoji tells her that she doesn't mind this, and someday they will also understand. But when that time comes, it'll be too late for them. She looks disappointed in the other teachers and says, "Seriously, they're fools to the core." Seeing this makes Fujishiro look at Sanjoji in a new light. Sanjoji tells her that it's embarrassing to say, but she was on the dumbfuck teacher's side once, and she's sure she would have joined in on the criticism. Hearing this makes Fujishiro say, "Please tell me your story someday." Sanjoji agrees and tells her that the fortune she got at the first shrine visit of the year said that a turning point in her life would come. She had doubts, but today she realized that now is the time. Fujishiro smiles and tells her that this kind of sounds like something out of a love horoscope. Sanjoji smiles and says that might be true. The person she was meant to meet appeared at the end of her escape. She thinks that this too is fate. Sanjoji closes her eyes and thinks, who would have thought this would happen? I truly appreciate being given one more opportunity. She thinks of another woman and thinks that she's sure that woman does too. Sanjoji calls Fujishiro and tells her that no matter what happens in the future, she should just believe in her students and everything will be fine. Hearing this surprises Fujishiro. She smiles and says, I may have misunderstood you, Sanjoji-sensei. Sanjoji smiles and says, is that so? Even at this age, I'm still unmarried. And when I get home, I only have my dog to comfort me. I'm such a lonely woman. Hearing this angers Fujishiro. She screams and says, "What is wrong with men in this world to leave such a good woman alone?" Hearing this makes Sanjoji laugh. She tells Fujishiro to please cheer up too. She pats her back and says that maybe it's already in motion, her fateful encounter. She says this as she blushes and smiles. The next day at school, we see someone saying sorry to the MC about Erika and asking him to play shogi again. As the person goes, Kuki asks the MC, "Don't you think you know way too many faces?" He replies and says, "This much is normal, isn't it?" He continues and says that when it comes to measuring irregular forms, Heron's formula comes in handy. Kuki gets confused and tells him that they're not discussing facial surface area here. Kuki asks him why he knows the captain of the Go Club. He replies and says that he was giving romantic advice because hot-blooded senpai introduced him. Kuki asks him how he even calls himself a loner. The MC replies and says that he doesn't get it. He won't understand since he's refreshing, handsome guy. Suddenly, the MC gets up and tells him that he'll show him the reality and tells him to not be shocked when he sees how much of a loner he truly is. He continues and says that the first in the morning, he goes to school with Yuri-san. At lunch, he either goes and worships Goddess Senpai or gets stuck between Hinagi and Shiori in the classroom. There's even a chance the student council president might show up too. After school, it's club time. And even outside of that, he's almost always being dragged into something by someone. At home, his mother and sister bombard him by violating his private space. And the moment he steps outside, Himeyama-san is sure to spot him. Hearing himself say this suddenly makes him realize something. He screams and says, "In what way am I a loner?" Kuki screams and tells him that's what he's asking him. Suddenly someone comes from the back and tells the MC that he hasn't changed a bit. We see that this guy is Seidu. Seidu asks him if he wants to have dinner together sometime. His mom said that she wants him to come again. The MC replies and says, "With your mother as well?" With a warm look on his face, Seidu replies and says, "Yes, despite everything, we're still a family." The MC tells Seidu to call him on a day that works for him. Seidu thanks him and goes back to his seat. Kuki looks at Seidu and says that he became a lot more cheerful now. The MC says that there was a time he really wasn't sure how things would turn out. Now we see that Mikuria, Seidu's mother, had carried on a secret affair for 5 years. Her partner is also married, making it a classic case of mutual adultery. Their illusion of a detached adult relationship crumbled in the face of reality. When his father learned of his wife's long-standing affair, his father doubted if Seidu was actually his child. Seidu heard this and got scared and worried. Seidu fell into depression. His father realized his mistake and apologized, but it was too late. During those days, Masamichi struggled alone, bearing his pain in silence. It was obvious to anyone who saw him that he was utterly worn out. When he finally reached his limit, it was Yukito who reached out to him. Perhaps it's because Yukito was also raised by a single parent. That's why he could relate. Either way, Seidu needed someone's assistance. His mother feared Seidu, feeling unable to face her child, while his father was also tormented by remorse, regretting the pain he had caused. Yukito acted as a mediator and frequently visited Seidu's home. He listened to Seidu's parents' thoughts and conveyed them to Seidu, then listened to Seidu's thoughts and relayed them back to his parents. The divorce remains the same, but Seidu's father has decided not to ask his ex-wife for alimony. He has made her promise to work and pay alimony to the spouse of her affair partner, and that they will consider rebuilding their relationship when it is all over. Seidu's mother had lost the ability to act like a mother. She felt that she who committed infidelity has no right to talk about morals or basic knowledge. Even so, this outcome saved Seidu's spirit. This would not have happened without Yukito. As Kuki thinks this, he smiles and tells Yukito that he's really an amazing person. Hearing this shocks the MC. He looks at a mirror and says, "Seriously, is my face really that amazing?" Seeing him do this makes Kuki angry as he tells him that he wasn't talking about his face. Now we see Fujishiro bowing down and apologizing to the class as she tells them that it's her fault for not being able to protect them. Everyone in the class tells her that they didn't cheat, they did their best at the test. We see the guy asking, why does the MC have to be the only one getting blamed, and if this is what those circumstances were all about. The teacher looks frustrated as she tells them that the matter was discussed in the staff meeting, but nobody really believed it. That's why she didn't intend to inform them. The MC looks serious as he thinks about the post he made a while back. Things were already in a mess because of his self-staged controversy, and now this is like pouring fuel on the fire. Suddenly, he smiles and becomes happy as he thinks that another page has been added to the legend of Yukito Kokonoe, the villain. He can't believe there's a kind stranger helping him with his gloomy loner plan. He tells the stranger to keep this up. Kana asks the teacher if this is the reason for the change in the class inspection. Fujishiro replies and says, "That's right, this really infuriates me." She continues and asks why should they be the ones getting blamed. All of them said they saw nothing suspicious, so why is there a need to change? Now that this matter went public, even the principal seems to be panicking, which serves him right. As she turns around, we see the MC going towards her. She continues and says, "What does he mean about calling you a rotten apple? I will never forgive him for mocking my students, no matter what." The MC suddenly gets down on his knees and screams, "I'm truly sorry." Seeing this reaction shocks Fujishiro and Kana. He tells them that he was the one who caused everyone trouble, so he needs to make amends. Kuki looks confused as he tells Yukito that he hasn't done anything, though. Suddenly, Yukito gets an idea and asks, "Wouldn't it be best if I just quit school?" He says that if he quits school, Fujishiro-sensei wouldn't get any more snide remarks, and his classmates would finally be evaluated fairly. Problem solved. Everyone ends up happy, a win-win situation. Heck, maybe he should leave home too. He's sure that his mom would be thrilled to agree. And then he'll go live on a remote island and grow mandarins or something. Suddenly Hinagi says, "Well then, if that's the case, then I'll quit school too." Hearing this confuses Yukito. He tells her that's a stupid thing to say. There's no way Akane-san would let that happen. Shiori smiles and tells him that she'll also quit school, and they can grow mandarin oranges together. He gets confused and asks them what they are talking about. Hinagi walks towards him and asks, "Did you forget that I came to this school chasing after you, Yukito? So, if Yukito isn't here, there's no point in me being here too. I know that this is a cowardly way of saying it, but I will tell you again and again that I love you." As she says this, she puts her hand on his. She holds his hand and tells him that she loves him, so she wants to be with him. He tells them to think about their futures. If this happens, what will their future hold? Shiori asks him, "So what about Yuki's future? Where can he find happiness?" Hearing this makes him think that he never thought about that. He's so desperate to live in the present that the idea of happiness is nothing more than a dream. With a dead look in his eyes, he replies, "Maybe collapsing and rotting somewhere." Suddenly, the girls tell him that they won't let that happen. They both grab his hand. With a determined look in their eyes, they say that they refuse to acknowledge such a future like that. Kuki comes from the back and says, "You lost this time, playboy. I will also quit school." He winks and says that knowing him, he'd probably end up creating a new type of mandarin and cause a huge fuss. That sounds more exciting, honestly. Yukito tells them that if the four of them quit at once, it'll cause a problem for Sensei. Suddenly, the Sensei tells him to not worry. With a straight face, she tells him that she's going to resign too. Hearing this confuses and shocks him. He runs around the class saying that this is definitely strange and asks everyone, "This is definitely strange, right?" While the class smiles and laughs, seeing him shocked like this. As Yukito is confused, Hinagi looks at him and tells the Sensei that everything would be fine, and he will definitely settle everything. He's not alone. As we see the classmates' smiling faces, she says that he's going to face this with everyone. We see Yukito recalling about Shuri and Hinagi, and thinks that they both seem like completely different people from when they first reunited. Just like Kuki said, he was the only one who didn't get it, and he's the only one who hasn't matured yet. Yukito suddenly gets fired up and says, "I understand." With a sinister look on his face, he says, "Let's make them realize that making Sensei bow her head won't come cheap." Hearing this makes the Sensei worried about what he's going to do now. And this is how this chapter ends. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you,